Hi everyone, my name is Mackenzie. I am the EcoReach AmeriCorps Vista. EcoReach is an organization based out of the University of Georgia, and we focus on bringing awareness to ecology and environmentally related issues. And we are going to be taking over for the Atlanta Firefly project because the creator, Kelly Ridenauer, just graduated this past semester. But Kelly had really good information in her video, so I didn't want to take away from that. So we're going to be just tacking this on at the beginning, just to give you a little update. Some of the dates she says are going to be outdated, obviously, and then a lot of times it'll say Atlanta specific, but since we are based in Athens, we are trying to expand the project further to all parts of Georgia. But anyone can participate. And we are going to be linking our social medias for the Atlanta Firefly Project and for EcoReach. So we'll do the websites and socials, all of that jazz. But without further ado, I'll go ahead and let Kelly take it away.
Hello, I'm Kelly Ridenauer, and I am an ecology research assistant at the University of Georgia. And I'm also the creator of the Atlanta Firefly Project. I want to thank you for showing your interest in this project and for being here. Your observations are invaluable to this work, and I hope you have as much fun with it as I am having. The data you are going to help collect for this project is going to help us understand where fireflies are in the city of Atlanta and also what habitats they are associated with. We are also using this data to help provide an estimate of abundance of fireflies. And we can use this to track firefly populations over time. So you might have noticed a decline in fireflies over the course of your life, but without collecting data, such as projects like this, we cannot track that potential change over time. So you will be helping to record whether or not you see fireflies. Both types of observations are important for this project. You also will be helping to provide an estimate of abundance by counting a number of flashes that you see. You also will be asking or answering some basic questions about the types of flashes and their patterns that you see. Additionally, we are exploring the relationship between different types of land management and fireflies. And what I mean by land management is things such as mowing, irrigation use, nighttime light use, pesticide use. So as part of this, there is an optional questionnaire that asks questions about those types of land management. And this information is extremely helpful for us. If you can answer it, it's only asked at one time, so it's not information you need to complete each time you monitor. And all of the data from this entire project will remain anonymous. So to answer a few questions to get you started on this project, anyone can participate in this project. I've gotten several questions about this. If you're a kid and you're here, thank you for being here. I'm very excited to have you. Please be sure to ask your parents' permission and also ask them for their help because I'm sure they love fireflies as much as you do. And you can also be located anywhere. This project is Atlanta specific, but you can submit data and we can use portions of that data from anywhere. So while most of our focus is the Metro Atlanta region, if you're very excited and you don't live in Metro Atlanta, you are still able to submit this information and it could be useful again in the future. We are also using the information, the observational information that you submit, combined with some satellite imagery. So we're going to be looking at things like percent canopy cover, the amount of nighttime light in the area to understand these associations between fireflies, habitat, and pressures such as light. So to get you started, the main thing that we're going to be asking from you is to pick 2 evenings in June and 2 evenings in July this summer, 2021, to monitor wherever you live. So you can live anywhere, any apartment or loft or home, we just need you to monitor outside where you live. So your backyard or the public space at your apartment complex, all of those work. And we want you to monitor that location on 2 nights in June and 2 nights in July. Of course, if that doesn't work out, life happens, it's okay. But if you can submit it that many times and commit to 2 nights in June and July, that would be great. And this is June and July is on your own schedule. You can space them out a few days apart. Just kind of do your best with that. But if you don't end up getting to it 2 nights in June and July, it's all right. We understand. If you want to submit more frequently than that, you can also do that as well. So that's kind of an options there for you, but we would love to have 2 nights of June and July. And as you go through this process, as you're out there having fun with, your neighbors or your family or your friends, if you want to tag us on social media or post any questions or pictures, we'd love to see what you're up to. You can add us at Atlanta Firefly Project. You can also use that hashtag, and we would be excited to see what you get into. So before we go through the how you report the information, there are 6 things that I want to go over with you for you to keep in mind during this project. The first thing is to pick a night that it is not raining. So the fireflies are not really going to be very active if it's actively raining. So avoid those nights. A warm, humid night is an excellent night for fireflies. It'd be great if, say, it had rained maybe the day before or something like that, but do the best you can and just kind of avoid active raining situations. The next part of this is outdoor lights. So it's best when you go out to monitor, if you have control over the outdoor lights on the property, to turn them off. Now, of course, I don't want you to trip over anything, and if you need lights for visibility, that's totally fine, but it won't be super dark when we're doing this monitoring, so try to avoid those lights if possible, because fireflies will not flash as frequently around them, and it also makes our eyes less adapted to the dark and harder to see those flashes and enjoy the fireflies. If you do have to use a light, it is best to use the dimmest possible red light, if at all possible, but try to avoid the lights. Please protect yourself from mosquitoes if you have them around where you're monitoring. Wear some bug spray. It's best if you just kind of put that on maybe before you get out over to wherever the fireflies are, or wherever you're hoping the fireflies will be, just so you don't kind of shoo them away from you. And the next part is the timing of this. We are asking that you start monitoring 30 minutes before sundown. So for example, mid-June, sundown is at 8:50 p.m. So you would come out at 8:20 p.m. And this is because the main firefly that we see around in Atlanta is what's called a crepuscular species. So that means it's active at dusk. So it isn't super dark. You shouldn't need a bunch of lights. So if you can kind of come out 30 minutes before fireflies, or 30 minutes before sunset, and then you can monitor all the way to a half an hour after sunset. That's kind of the window we would like, because this is when they are most likely to be active. Of course, they can light up outside of those windows, but that should be pretty sufficient. As you come out to monitor, try to stay roughly in one location approximately. It's not that you can't kind of move around. It's just don't hop between, different parts of the property or between a front yard and a backyard. Just try to stay roughly in one location and just monitor that one location. It's a great opportunity to bring out a blanket or some chairs and your favorite beverage and just relax and enjoy what you're seeing. And then the last thing is, wherever you intend to monitor, maybe check on your internet access. The data collection form that we're going to go over here in a minute uses the internet. You will be submitting the information once you're connected to the internet. So it would be great to just be able to have your cell phone or your tablet or your laptop down on the property, so you can submit the information there. But if you don't have access to internet or you can't get internet down there, you can write these questions down on a sheet of paper, and then submit the information later when you get to the internet. But just check and see if you have internet access so you can be prepared before you start monitoring. So that's it. Those are the 6 main things. Avoid the rain, avoid using outdoor lights if it's possible, try to apply your bug spray in a different location, start monitoring about half an hour before sunset, stay in approximately the same location when you're monitoring, and then also check that you have access to internet, and if you don't, bring a notebook or something like that. And so now we are going to go through the survey form where you're going to submit the information. So let's get to it. Okay, so when you click on the form on the website, it is going to bring up what looks like this. If you have it open in a browser, it has our logo in here and some welcome information. And what you want to do when you get out and you're starting your monitoring half an hour before sunset, you want to wait until you see, wait until you see the first flash. If you are, if you have fireflies and you see flashes at all, and then after you see that first flash, wait approximately 10 minutes before you fill this form out. And that way it just kind of gives an opportunity for a little bit more firefly activity to start up. Now, I'd previously mentioned the start 30 minutes before and go until half an hour after sunset. If you start seeing fireflies right away, you give it the 10 minutes. You don't have to wait all the way until after sunset. Once you're done submitting this information, you're done for the evening. If possible, if you can, if you're not seeing fireflies and you can wait that full window, that would be excellent. Try to wait at least half an hour. But that full window is what we're targeting. So, if you're out there and you're not seeing fireflies and you can wait until a half an hour after sunset before submitting this information, that would be great. But at a minimum, wait half an hour. So what it's going to look like when you get in here is it will automatically fill out the date and the time for you at whatever time you open this up. But you can click it and you can change the date or the time if it's inaccurate for some reason, but it shouldn't. This video is available on our website. It's linked here. You can just answer yes or no if you've watched this. This just helps us understand if, all the questions have been explained before you're submitting the information. And then it moves into this information about observational data. And depending on what you answer, yes or no, there's some, if you saw fireflies, there's some additional questions that you'll be answering. So if you hit no, it kind of collapses that information so you don't have to go through it. So for now, we're going to hit yes as if I saw some fireflies. So I hit yes here. The next point here is it's going to show you in what location you did or did not see the firefly flash. So what this is going to do here is find your location. So you want to submit this point approximately where you saw the fireflies flashing. So you can enter, I don't have my location services on my computer, so that's why that popped up, but you can enter here your address, and it will kind of zoom in on this map for you. You can actually manually grab this point and move it around as well if you wanted to kind of put it in the right location. As I click different points on this map, it'll move it around. You can also click this find button and it'll actually find the exact location that you're standing in and plot that point. So you want to get this point where you're seeing the firefly flash. The next thing here is if you can just enter in the house address or apartment address and the street number. It's just a unique identifier that you're going to remember each time you submit this information. So your house address and first street name is best for this, and this helps us match observations, the same observation over time, because sometimes the point location isn't 100% accurate, especially if there's multiple people submitting nearby. So this helps us understand that your questionnaire information is paired with your observational information. So you would just enter like 1, 2, 3, whatever your house and street name is there, and you would enter that same one each time. This next question is asking if there's any fireflies flying in the air. So the males are the ones typically flying in the air. So this is as opposed, as the question is saying, if you only see a firefly flashing on the ground versus a firefly moving around in the air. So I'm going to say, yes, I saw some fireflies flying. This opens up the flash chart here. This is just a little cheat sheet here of some different fireflies that might be in our area. The most likely ones are these ones on the top here, ABC to D. Probably less likely the lower you go down, roughly. This all depends on where in the city you are and what type of habitat you have and what time of year it is. But these are approximately the amount of seconds in between the flashes. And the flashes are organized sort of by color. So some of them are more amber, some are more yellow, some are more orange, etc. And then these are kind of the shapes and intensities. So most likely you are seeing A that's on this graph. And this stroke here that goes down and up is actually the firefly flight trajectory. So as it's flying, it kind of dips down and then it swoops back up. And that's why we call it the Big Dipper. So that is the firefly flash here that you're likely seeing. And then these other ones that are circles are usually just like the burst. The kind of stars are, they're a little, they are more like irregular and jagged. Sometimes they actually blink a bunch of little bursts frequently with tiny little spaces in between the blinks that our eye can't pick up on. So that's why it looks a little jagged. But you're going to try to just do your best. If it's not perfect, it's fine. What you're doing is just trying to pick one that looks the most like this chart. And so in here, you can enter, the number that you see, or the letter that you think you see, or you can describe it in your own words. This is just to describe that flash. The next question's a bit easier. This is asking if you did see those flashes coming from the ground or stationary on a plant. Those are most likely the females typically. The next part is if there's any flashing coming up from the tree trunks or the tops of the trees. So if you see a firefly on the trunk of a tree or up in the treetops, this just lets us know maybe if there's a different type of firefly there. The next part is estimating the abundance of fireflies. So this is where it's really important to kind of try to do that wait for 10 minutes until you start answering this questionnaire, just to give time for the fireflies to really start displaying much. So what you will do is kind of pick one direction, just try to face wherever you're seeing the fireflies. Don't move around in a bunch of different directions, face one direction, and set your timer for 60 seconds or 1 minute, and just count the number of flashes. Any type of flash on the ground, in the air, whatever flash you're seeing, just go ahead and count the number of flashes that you see. And so you would enter it here. So say, I saw 8, or I saw 0, or I saw 2. You want to repeat that 3 separate times. I'm apologizing for my dogs. So you want to repeat that 3 separate times, and that just gives us, kind of an average for when you're seeing things. And you don't have to really wait in between the minutes. It's just helpful maybe to pause in between each one, write your number down, reset your watch, but you don't have to wait between the time periods. This question just asks which direction you are facing when you are making the observations. You can look at this on just Google Maps or your phone, or pull the compass up on your phone and just try to pick the best direction if you are facing north or if you're facing west, and just select whichever one you are facing. This portion is optional, and it is asking for a photo of the firefly. So say you're seeing just one type of flash, you're seeing that J flash. If you can catch one, you know, it might be best if you just either, you know, try to put a dim light on it rather than your cell phone flash to take a photo, or if you can just bring it inside for a minute to a soft light and take the photo, just so the photo is kind of clear and visible. And you'll be able to just take the photo right in this app. Just like that. I would have to allow my camera and take the photo. If you are definitely seeing, you're like, it's clear as day, there are two different types of flashes going on here, it would be great if you could submit one photo of each type of firefly with the different flashes. But like I said, this photo situation is all optional. Lastly, here at the bottom is another optional section. It allows you to share memories or information that's coming up. So if this is like a cool observation that you saw or something that happened during this period, feel free to share. Alternatively, it can just be a memorable story or thing you remember from your past that has to do with fireflies. So you can enter that information in here. So that is it for the observational information for the fireflies. The next portion is this questionnaire that comes in the bottom here. And so it asks if you've answered this before. If, you know, we do not need you to submit the same questionnaire multiple times. So you can just submit this information once. So, you know, if you have submitted it before, you can hit yes, all the questions go away. So you don't have to worry about it, and you can just hit submit at that time. But if you haven't, you hit no, and then it goes down into these questions about mowing. There's questions about irrigation, mosquito control, insecticides, herbicides, fungicides, landscape service, fertilizer, leaf litter, and outdoor lighting. And that is all the sections for the questionnaire. You know, it might take you 15 minutes to fill out, depending on how many of those things that you do or do not do. And, you know, if you live in an apartment complex or some sort of multifamily living, you can always say, you know, no on this or yes on this, and just refill it out later if you want to get the answers to that question from, say, your HOA or your apartment complex management. That would be helpful if you can get that information. So you can always come back and answer that questionnaire later if you would like. But that is it for the questionnaire and the observational data, and you would hit submit. And it will not let you, this is in preview, so it will not let you hit submit if you did not fill out certain required questions, which are indicated here in the red stars. So be sure you do that. If you're having trouble, it's just probably because you have not answered a required question, which everything on here is required except for the photos, the memories, and the questionnaire. So that is it. You can repeat this monitoring process as many evenings in the summer as you want, as we previously mentioned, but we're hoping for at least 2 evenings in June and July. And please share this opportunity. The more people we have contributing, the better our information is. Talk with your neighbors, your schools, community group, your workplace, religious organizations, anyone who you feel would be interested in this project. So thank you again. Have fun, and thanks for your help with this work.